Aaron VIDAL was a motivated young cop going places, but Aaron's life was cut short after he was hit by a car while riding his motorbike home. Tonight, his devastated father, David, a career policeman, says justice hasn't been served against the driver who killed his son. David spoke with crime editor Simon Boda.
What happens if one day Ezio says to his grandfather, "Hey, I want to be a policeman"?
I'd be really proud.
Would you?
Yeah. And I'm sure Aaron would be too.
David Vidal's a shattered man.
Aaron was like a really incredible kid.
In June last year, David's life changed forever.
To lose a child is a pain that's impossible to describe to anyone unless you've gone through it yourself.
The father of 6 is a chief inspector in the New South Wales Police Force. His son Aaron followed in his father's footsteps.
To stand by him side by side in the uniform of the New South Wales Police was one of the proudest days of my life.
Aaron was riding his motorcycle home after a night shift when he was hit by a car and killed.
In that split second, my life changed forever. My family's life changed forever.
Take a breath, mate. Yeah, grab a tissue.
And it was like a part of me had been torn from me.
After serving his country in the army, Aaron fulfilled his dream to wear the blue uniform.
I knew he was going to be an amazing policeman. He had the qualities that you look for in a cop.
And he was a good cop.
I fully expected if I was in the police force long enough that he'd end up being my boss. He was just... He had the most enormous potential.
Aaron and his fiancée Jess were due to be married, but had to defer because of COVID. But they started their family.
Not much positive has come out of COVID, but, you know, that's one thing we are thankful for, because otherwise we wouldn't have Aaron's son, you know, my grandson.
What does he mean to you? What does Ezio mean to you now?
Ezio's our living part of Aaron that we still have.
Aaron VIDAL was killed when his motorbike collided with a car driven by this man, Tommy BALLA. BALLA pleaded guilty to dangerous driving causing death. Judge Stephen Hanley heard he turned in front of Aaron's motorbike, but he also heard the 28-year-old police officer had allegedly breached road rules by illegally lane filtering. David Vidal's been at BALLA's every court appearance.
We're not looking for vengeance or revenge. We're looking for justice.
How hard was it for you to sit through that court case?
The court process was very hard in a lot of aspects. Obviously, you know, hearing about the circumstances to how your son is killed is difficult to hear, no matter how it happens.
Facing 10 years in prison, BALLA was sentenced to a 2-year intensive corrections order. No jail time.
He was inattentive for 2 seconds.
On Friday, the case is back before Judge Hanley to determine if BALLA qualifies for home detention.
Was his first day of school?
The Vidal family is determined to make a difference and is now helping establish a road trauma victim support group to help others better understand the legal process.
This is really in a dire need, that there needs to be much more support out there to help victims, so that, you know, they're already going through massive trauma, but to be further traumatised by the process is terrible. We can't allow that to happen.
Really, the only people that can truly understand what you're going through are people who've gone through the same thing.
You know, I've told parents that their child's never coming home, you know, and I've walked away, and whilst I've felt their pain, I could never really understand their pain. And now that I've gone through it, I know that nobody can understand that pain unless you've gone through it yourself.
Hi Charlotte, hi Sophie.
The support group's the brainchild of the Highway Patrol's Crash Investigation Unit's boss, Katie Orr.
I started to think, how do we support these families and how do we help the police support these families? Because the ongoing trauma, I guess, to the police as well, it's, you know, we're all human, have families, have children.
She's seen proof the support group is empowering families impacted by road trauma.
We had our first road trauma support group meeting in March this year, and we had about 40 families.
The Vidals know nothing will ease their pain, but they want to ensure that others who face the same trauma get the support they need, and they want that to be Aaron's legacy.
That's a good girl. And as hard as it is to do all this, and it is hard because I'm still grieving, I do it for Aaron, so that his death is not in vain.
For more information on the Road Trauma Support Group, head to our website.